We'll continue with our theme today about what the NBA president is suggesting. And this morning we're joined by Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
Well, this view, it's one that it's really, at least the NBA, they say they're strong on their point, and they want that prosecutorial power stripped from the EFCC. But looking at this suggestion, what do you think of that one?
No, I think I should correct this impression. It's not the position of the Nigerian lawyers. It's the position of the new president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Because even though I wasn't in Port Harcourt for the conference of the bar, but from reports I have gathered, it was not a resolution adopted by the conference. Because as far back as 2008, this controversy was laid to rest when the NBA leadership at that time misled the then Attorney General, Mr. Mike Andraka, SAN, particularly for some lack of experience, to issue a directive to the effect that all the anti-graft agencies should no longer prosecute without his authorization. Okay. I think I was in Dakar, Senegal, Oceania meeting, and I had to quickly remind the government that there was a decision of the Supreme Court on the matter.
We'll let you continue on this particular point in just a moment. Pardon us, sir. Don't go away yet. Welcome back. Please go on with your point.
Yeah, I'm saying the government was misled in 2007 to issue a directive to the effect that EFCC, which was the target then, but it was said to be all the anti-graft agencies, could not initiate any case in court without, the authorization of the then Attorney General. Of course, I think I was in Dakar sharing a meeting on that day when I had to issue a statement reminding the government that the Supreme Court had decided in the case of Osahon and the Federal Republic of Nigeria that any statutory agency clothed with prosecutorial powers can initiate criminal proceedings. Of course, subject to the overriding power of the Attorney General to take over, either with a view to continue or discontinue. But you cannot say that a statutory body cannot prosecute.
Is it the same thing with this one?
Of course.
Because that one...
No, it's a new argument now. No, it's the same argument. Through another means. It's all designed to strip the EFCC of prosecutorial power. That was the plan then. Of course, President Yar'Adua had to challenge the Attorney General, Mr. Andraka. Aren't you aware, in fairness to the late Yar'Adua, aren't you aware of this judgment of the Supreme Court? At that stage, the President directed that the directive be reversed. Right. In 2011, Madam Waziri, the then EFCC chairperson, was again misled by the bar to give these cases to senior advocates of Nigeria. Some of them were given the cases, but unfortunately it was a disaster. In fact, I do recall that a federal court in Lagos actually prohibited 4 of them, including the then president of the NBA, Mr. J.B. Daudu, from ever handling any prosecution for the government because of the allegation that the case was messed up. The case of one of the bank executives. Okay, that's where we are again.
Let's delve into that deeper. What would be wrong if they were to separate those powers and say, EFCC, you do your thorough investigation, but you will not be the one prosecuting?
Why EFCC alone? Aren't you aware that as we are seated here this morning, the police will be taking thousands of people to court, to magistrate courts, to area courts all over the country today? The Customs, Nigeria Customs Service prosecutes, NDLA prosecutes, NAFDAC prosecutes, NAPTIP prosecutes, and many others. Even as a private person, I can apply for fear to prosecute.
But it was reported.
So why are you singling out the EFCC?
About singling out the EFCC,
yes.
I think there was a seminar conference that the AGF, Attorney General,
yes.
attended.
Yes.
I think it was suggesting that the police may soon also be stripped of prosecutorial powers.
No. Under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, lawyers are going to be prosecuting, right? But as we are seated now, the police are still prosecuting. If you are saying, as a general policy for the country, because you will have taken the argument, you have elevated the quality of your argument. If Mr. Mahmoud Essien, the new president of the NBA, have said, henceforth, or we are campaigning that all agencies of government that investigate cases should no longer be allowed to prosecute. But why have you singled out the EFCC?
You know, you've been asking.
The only one that seems to be performing.
You've been asking this question since you started talking. Perhaps
nobody is talking of ICPC.
Do you have some other reasons why you think that the EFCC has been singled out?
No, I don't want to engage in speculation or conjecture. I mean, these are my colleagues. I have my own idea. I have my own ideas.
Because when you keep asking that, some other Nigerians, someone will think that perhaps...
I'm challenging my colleagues to tell the world why the EFCC has been singled out. The ICPC is an anti-graft agency. So is the Code of Conduct Bureau. Why are you not asking that this should be a general policy of the government? Is
there a possibility that they've not been using prosecuting counsel to pursue cases like this, maybe giving defense people who are experts in defense?
Which experts? Please, this is our terrain. I am telling you that this has been tried and it failed. Right now, I mean, Mr. Mahmoud admitted yesterday, in his own statement, right, that he was given the orderly case in 2008 to handle the appeal. Up till now, 8 years, it has not been heard.
Is it a fault?
I do not know of any of the cases being handled by the in-house lawyers of the EFCC.
Is that a fault of prosecution?
Such.
Is it usually, when that kind of thing happens, is it usually
the duty to follow up his case?
Not the system itself?
Oh yes, no. How can you have your appeal in a serious case in which there are rules? The Court of Appeal rules, Court of Appeal practice directions, 2013, have insisted that preference must be given to corruption cases. Cases are appeals arising from corruption, rape, money laundering, and the rest of them.
So why is it that no former governor has been sentenced?
Who by?
By the FCC has been on several cases of the former governors.
The late, the former governor of Bayelsa State, the late DSP Alamesia was convicted and sentenced.
Where he had the plea bargain?
Yes, but he was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Not the normal plea bargain you now do, that you just give them a pat on the back. At that time, he was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment and made to forfeit all the assets that the EFCC traced. Chief James Ibori was convicted in London after, senior lawyers, SAN prosecutor, a team of SAN defense counsel led by the immediate past president of the NBA, Mr. Austin Alege, and his predecessor, Mr. J.B. Daudu SAN, defended Ibori. Another SAN, Mr. Ishaku SAN, prosecuted Ibori. But you know what happened in Asaba? By the time the same guy was taken to London, through the collaboration of the EFCC and the Metropolitan Police,
I hope we're not trying to put the blame on people who represent people here. Perhaps because for some,
we have come through this way.
Good, because for some they will say instead these are fantastic minds, fantastic lawyers who've been able to take their clients on a clean slate.
No, I'm not blaming defense counsel.
Good,
but we're dealing with prosecution. I am saying, do you know that? And I'm happy. Mr. Mahmoud Essien is a former Attorney General. Do you know that the greatest problem, the prosecution department faces in the country, in any of the ministries of justice, is the fact that the investigators in cases, serious cases of murder, cannot be located. Because at the time the case is fixed for hearing, he may have been moved out of jurisdiction. To now get him back is extremely difficult.
Okay.
But in a case where you have the same organization handling investigation and prosecution, sometimes the prosecuting counsel will simply ask the investigator, please, can you get into my car? And we are going to the court. So that's the other advantage.
Let's get Mark, but Mark likes to put the questions. Mark, go ahead.